Ladies and gents, welcome back. Away days, back on a Monday. We're one man down again. It's a plague. Yeah, we've rotated in. Tots is having his 4-week.
I was in a bad stint of form.
Tots has joined the company. I promise they like doing it, I think.
Mate, we do love it. We do love it. Just,
it's just timing.
He's sick this time. Things happen.
Yeah. And we call it Mondays, probably the hardest day of the week to get shit done.
But we'll make a good effort to get here.
We are. 8 a.m. Monday morning, straight after the games are happening.
Yeah,
so,
Man, I gotta. I mean, Jesus.
It's just everything's just happening.
Game ended at 1:30 last night. Yeah. I woke up at like 6:30. So I'm committed to the cause.
6:45, straight up, rolling out, getting the lights ready. But we're committed, exactly. Big weekend, first weekend back. We'll go through the big teams, cover over some of the key moments as well. And then we've got a classic away days subjective bullshit segment where we just talk. Yeah. It's got 5 stories.
It's my special.
Oh yeah, we love that. We love it. Like monologues deluxe. Like
Tots is kind of like converted a little bit in recent months.
He's becoming an objective figure.
I know, it's really frustrating. Someone's got to hold up the waffleness
just to talk. Yeah,
and I'm here for that. I'm
get the watch time up.
Yeah.
So
I was actually absolutely cooking this last night. So
I've been thinking about it for a little bit. I sort of have to decide on the spot. I think I've got a lot in my head, but I'll get it out eventually. But we'll do 5 storylines which have sort of developed for match day 1, which we can look forward to. That's sort of the.
Well, I might have missed the memo a little bit, but it'll still work.
If it's on match day 1, it's all that matters. Yeah. On match day 1. I want to quickly start with something that probably will be my point later on, but what I learned from the weekend, and I sort of was saying in the group chat, teams like the Arsenal, Liverpool, especially United, I think even Man City last night, I think it's a big deal about winning ugly to start the season off. Like no pre-season. Like, we know squad depth can be tested with Champions League and like 8 games in the Champions League this season. And I just feel like as a whole, the league just looked a little bit just B-rate. Obviously, we've been used to Euros, prime football, end of season last year, Champions League finals. That's all happened recently. So we used to football zinging about and high pace. It just felt a little bit, it was like tough to watch some of the games on the weekend. It was really slow. I commented about the fouls thing, like Wolves just hacking you guys down. The refereeing inconsistent, like they let it play for United, they didn't really let it play for Liverpool, and it's just like it's the first. It's obviously teething problems, but some of the games are really hard to watch in the weekend because of it's a bit ugly. So I feel like then it's really important for especially you guys, especially Liverpool's and Cities, the big 3, to just, in my eyes, big 3, even Newcastle, they got it done as well, to just keep winning, playing ugly for I guess the next 3 weeks until everyone's sort of fit.
No, I mean I couldn't really agree more with what you just said in the sense that I think, this is Pep's been doing this now for the last 5 years. Like,
he knows this.
Somehow, I mean, he's been doing it, and I feel like, to be honest, that's the model now. Like, you don't want to peak too early. The season, as years go on, like, it just cements even more that the season's a marathon, right? And like, banking points early is super, super important.
Yeah.
But you also want to hit your top form, and peak in the way in how you're playing, and confidence and fitness and all those things. You want to peak in sort of April, May.
Yeah, generally,
obviously. So, yeah, you're 100% right. At the start of the season is just about banking points and getting your squad up and getting a few more signings in if you need to do that, and figuring out what you need to address.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for all the big teams, I feel like the weekend overall, I would say, went relatively descript in terms of who you would expect to win. Yeah. Like, I think the only real major shocks or disappointments so far, I mean, you never know, Leicester could do something tonight against Spurs.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was like, I would say, besides Everton getting slapped up at home, most of the weekend went to plan. Arsenal got the job done, Liverpool got the job done in a game which, I was trying to spin this in the chat, but Ipswich
we'll get into it,
on the first on their first game in 20 years since
23 years they've been there,
and like away, new manager for Liverpool, like that was a perfect storm for an upset, right? And they got the job done in a pretty good fashion. And then the same as City, like Chelsea, that was the best Chelsea team I've seen on paper in what feels like at least 2 years.
Definitely.
Right? And my initial thoughts was like, finally we're seeing like $1 billion later, £1 billion later, there's actually a decent squad on the pitch.
Competing,
Still feels like there's areas to address. But once again, City get the job done, and they looked like, I thought Chelsea looked pretty good, but I thought City looked really good in the first half too. Like in terms of like thought they were playing well for Alf in the back, and just super composed and confident as per usual. What we've come to expect from that team.
Yeah.
And Haaland just puts the ball away. Like, there's a lot of storylines which I thought developed out of these games.
That game especially, it was a big one for me because we'll get onto it. But we've been talking about Lavia for ages. But I want to have a bit because he was huge last night. I thought.
Chelsea did look good.
I think it almost felt like I don't think it was even Enzo Maresca. I think it was just the players actually know each other now. I don't think it was any coaching problem. That's why I'm so pissed about Poch. Because Poch was, I feel like actually.
I reckon Poch should have been sitting at home, thinking pretty pissed off, thinking like, where was Fofana for me?
Yeah, Nkunku's
Nkunku, Lavia. Like, I mean, I don't know how much football Colwell played last year, but like, I feel like he didn't get a lot of continuity either.
Yeah.
I mean, that back line, like Cucurella was good. He's come back from having a good Euros. Now he's like the player that they signed from Brighton 2 years back. So it's like, if you were Poch, you'd probably be a little bit pissed off thinking, where was this for me?
Where was that help? Yeah.
And a midfielder, Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia, you got Nkunku, like, in front of them. And like, you almost have the luxury of playing Cole Palmer on the right, which I think we'll have to see whether that pans out to be the best decision long term, because that is something we'll touch on a little bit deeper when we talk about the game. But it's like, overall, that was, a very different Chelsea makeup from what we've seen in the last few years. And they still lost 2-0 at home. Yeah. But I feel like there's a lot more there for fans to look at in a positive way. They're versus City, the best team we've seen, and like this is one of the best teams of all time.
Ever.
So,
yeah. I feel like it's not the worst result in the world. It feels like. Let's get into some of the games. Start at the top. Friday night was me and Tots' boys. I was waiting for a massive sort of like 10-minute spiel from Tots.
I know, and I didn't watch this game because it was at like the bloody. Was that like 3 a.m.? When was it?
It was 3 a.m. It was the Euros hours. I felt like I was taking back 2 months of time.
I wanted to watch it the first game of the Prem. But I just could not do it.
It was a game I watched without actually taking notes because I assumed he would know everything off by heart. But good game. Again, it was sort of a symbol of the week though. It was scrappy and a bit of basketball stuff at the end. Then we just get over the line in the end. Good Zertsky goal. Still a little bit worried about the structure of the team. This Mount shit, like trying to get Mount in the team with Bruno in the team, and at the back, it feels like we've reversed what happened last year. I'm like happy with the back. We had I know Johnny Evans still came on, but we like put 2 centre backs on. Like I don't think we could even put a centre back on last season. So that's a plus for me. Defence looked good. Delo was good. Nassar Mazraoui was fantastic at the back.
I heard Mazraoui was kind of mid.
Oh, I thought he was really good. First game,
he ran tweets about him.
There was a thread. I think in the first half, I think he tried to play out from the back and like fucked the pass, and the threads were going off.
I saw someone tweet it. He's like, how we managed to get this bloke for only 15 mil. Like, what a steal! And then everyone else is replying like, we can sell. I don't know, but I didn't actually. I didn't watch the game.
There's a moment I think he had a bit of a worrying stuff, but I guess they're going to live with that. He's going to play out from the back. Him and Delete, that's what they're going to do. Just take it on. They're used to buying stuff. So
I just don't know how I feel about Ten Hag, like signing just every player he's worked with before.
The positive spin, because I'm going to be doing the positive spin.
Yeah. I don't look at it positively at all.
He literally came in and looked like he'd been there for 4 years.
Because
I'm assuming he knows what Ten Hag wants to do. So I guess for the first, this ugly period of time, it is going to work for us well because all our new signings know the system. Other than Zertsky, but he sort of played it.
So what you're saying is you should hit the ground running, and if you don't hit the ground running, then there's absolutely no...
You can't really have...
There should be no...
excuse.
Yeah, no excuses.
It's simple. Yeah. Like the Liverpool game.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, that's a flat hit. You can say yes or no to that in a few weeks' time. Liverpool game is the big one, the Ball Classico. That's gonna be a huge game because Arne Slot's got. I think he took 2 steps more than I thought. They flew out the block for me in that game. So that's match week 3. We got Brighton away next week. Another. So
you got Liverpool match week 3.
Yeah. So Brighton away, Liverpool at home, and then another. I think we got
be a really good game.
Villa in match week 6.
What time's that? Do you know? It's probably
I don't know, but Nathan's definitely a live stream. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll have to sort something like that out.
That's a big game. That'd be a good watch.
That's huge though, because it sort of feels like, as much as I can say that from the outset, apparently people were describing it as a new Ten Hag because of the new deal and new ownership, but it's still the Ten Hag team versus a new Liverpool team. So it's sort of balanced out because Ten Hag, the team he hasn't actually done well against is Liverpool.
Yeah.
We've beaten City a few. Like we haven't actually beaten you guys properly.
Hardly done a lot against us. Nah, you've taken us a few games.
At least that last season with a 3-2, I feel like at least we were competing.
And you beat us 3-1, I think, last year.
At home, we actually would have beat it. But like it just sort of feels like.
Was that last year?
No, 2 years ago. 2 years. That was first season. That's first season.
Okay.
I feel like last year.
Okay, yeah.
You doubled up on us last year because that was the title game. Yeah.
I was thinking we must have doubled up on you.
But Liverpool feel like they've just, or Jurgen Klopp just feel like he had the better of Ten Hag. So like it's now a new era. We can level up the slate. So that'll be a big game. So, but I think it's important, as I said at the start, just get some wins, bank some wins. But you want to see the players
look, a 1-0, like, you know, yeah, you take the 3 points and you run with it. Look, at the end of the day, as you said, like, despite the, you know, I can take the piss about having no time to gel, but you do have a bunch of new signings. You got a bunch of players. It feels like you got a bunch of players back, and you know the squad is sort of all a bit unfamiliar with each other in terms of like they're still all new, despite the fact they know the system. So yeah, like you just never know what can happen match day one. Like you want to bank the points, and this is a Fulham team which actually has a bit of excitement about it in terms of the signing of ESR and. There's a few rumours they're signing a few more players. You know, Diego Carlos is linked with them. I think that'd be a really good signing. It sounds like Villa want to get him off the books.
He's on the bench. I don't know why they're benching the weekend.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's almost fourth choice now behind Tyrone Mings. That's crazy. Which is mental.
Tyrone Mings, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, it's mental. Like I was under the impression this time last year it was Pau Torres and Diego Carlos.
That's an elite level
right? And then Ezra Konsa was behind them, and then Tyrone Mings was behind them.
Yeah.
So it's like the point is, you know. There's always a few hiccups. There can always be a few hiccups early days. So I think United would be thrilled to get 3 points.
And get out of there.
Yeah.
It feels like.
And just keeps building. But
Did you have Bruno Fernandes in FPL?
No. I don't have any United players in FPL.
Yeah, thank God.
I have absolutely no faith in you guys.
Oh, no. I did have.
Where did I put you? But it's 8. Yeah. I think I had you 8. Okay.
But I was looking at. When I watched it back. When I watched the edit back, I was like. Like I might have put like Newcastle too low, or I should have like.
I'm super confident in my Newcastle prediction. I think I had them third.
I think that might. Well, from this, when watching all other people's predictions over in the UK, a lot of them fancy Newcastle like a lot. Like that Newcastle third is very common, like very very common.
Well, I mean,
and Spurs fourth, and Spurs around the top 4 as well.
Fourth?
I don't know. No, you didn't have. Oh, you might have.
I think I did.
Yours is very similar to the UK
I swear to God, I didn't watch one video before I did it.
I watched all of them after ours came out just to make sure where I was at. But I was thinking, oh shit, I
had Newcastle third, Spurs fourth, Chelsea fifth.
Yeah. See, that was very what was going on over in the UK.
That's annoying because that means I'm going to get it wrong. I feel like these guys always get it wrong.
They send
it's really frustrating. I thought I was kind of rogue with mine.
Well, for what it feels like, from what I know,
no one's backing Newcastle.
Yeah,
no one's going to back Spurs.
I think I slapped on like 7th.
Mate, I thought I was kind of like ahead of the game there.
Well, it felt like it, to be honest. When you said it, I thought you felt like it. But
now I'm concerned.
The UK media is coughing then.
I know.
Next week, we're going to run over Ipswich and Liverpool, 2-0 to Liverpool. Yep. That was the last time I watched. I actually watched it in depth.
Yeah, I watched this game as well.
It's funny because on the chat, I was like, oh, I rate it. And I'm sort of like still in the Liverpool bandwagon because I put them third. I'm trying to ride them hard. But I understand the first half, but it was similar to the first game of the season, hot day. Like it was midday. Yep. It's actually quite funny. I think Szoboszlai said it in the interview post-game. He doesn't like the midday kickoffs. And literally just laugh, thinking about Jurgen Klopp must have just drilled this into this team that we don't play midday kickoffs. First thing he said in the press conference, like, it's very hard midday. I'm thinking like, fuck.
Wait, was that a thing?
That was Jurgen.
Liverpool would rarely ever play midday kickoffs.
Oh, they'd play a 2 or 3, but like their record was they used to be like 50% of midday kickoffs.
I did not know that.
So Jurgen used to be like so against it. And the first thing he said,
classic Jurgen crying about midday
first
kickoffs.
thing Szoboszlai said, midday kickoff.
That's funny. I didn't realise that.
Legit, I was like, fuck it. It's just carried over. So Jurgen Klopp's impact's still there. Because the start was a bit shit. As you be honest, I think in the highlights Optus put up, all the first half highlights were Ipswich attacks, I think.
That's okay. I didn't actually watch the highlights back because I watched the game. But it was like...
I'm pretty sure I saw on the...
That's interesting because to be honest, I thought Ipswich were good in the first half. But I wouldn't have said like by any means that they were the better team in the first half.
Like, so 50-50, right?
Yeah, I would have said it was super evenly split. I couldn't exactly remember any clear-cut chances for Ipswich in the first.
I remember that massive
Allison
breakaway.
Make a big save or something?
There was Allison making that save from the Graves header, but it was sort of at him. But
yeah, that was directly
under him. He didn't make I don't think he made a save him, but Hutchinson had that counter-attack where I thought he was through on goal. From the corner, like McAllister like just sort of fumbled around with it.
Yeah.
Chaplin played through Hutchinson, but for some reason, because he's a left footer, he was hunting that left foot. He kept cutting back, and by the time he got there, the two in there. But that was two big chance of the fact because Liverpool just felt like they were not passing the ball properly.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to play one-touch football, which worked second half, but first half just wasn't working. And just felt like Ipswich was like bang, counter.
I also thought, to be honest, Ipswich were playing the ball out really well in the first half.
They were not fearful at all.
And it scares me a little bit, to be honest, because like it gives me I want to believe that they can do it, but it gives me massive Burnley vibes because I just feel like they're lacking quality up the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Hutchinson I know he was good in the championship last year, and
the Prem just showed his talent. I think
bit of a price tag around him, and there was a lot of hype being from Arsenal youth, and then Chelsea academy as well, and so it's like there's a little bit of an unknown element with him. Can he do it in the Prem?
Yeah,
I thought he looked okay in that game. I didn't think he looked amazing.
Great, yeah.
Won a few fouls and stuff like that, but I would have hoped for a little bit, maybe get a few shots off or something.
Yeah,
and then they got Delap and they got other guys around the top there, but they have really no names who've proven to be capable of doing big things in the Prem. So it's like there's gonna definitely need to be a big step up there in terms of where we think their ability is and what it actually is. They're gonna have to close that gap.
Yeah.
Or outperform expectation quite massively for them to stay up like I predicted them on a bit of a faith pick.
Trust the boys.
Because I want them to do well. I thought they played out really well from the back.
Yeah.
But I just think on when the lack of chances, I think they're probably going to get throughout most of the season, they're going to need to be clinical.
Yeah.
And I didn't think we got a great look at that on that game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The stat was to that point when Ben Johnson came on like West Ham's right winger squad player.
Yeah. By the way, he had more Premier League games.
Yeah, what is that? 16 of them combined, and I'm like 16 players. They have no Premier League.
No, so I think he had 85 games played in the Premier League.
I don't know how he did that, by the way.
Which I thought was mental as well.
That's crazy in itself.
He had more than the team combined. I thought the rest of the team combined.
more than 16 players together, 20 players together.
That's mental.
And they got Calvin Phillips on the side. I'm thinking holy shit.
True. Calvin Phillips is there as well.
I got a point about that, but I think I'll touch about that in the storylines part because it's a similar thing with Southampton, which we'll flick over a little bit later as well. Both played well, but it's a bit of Sheffield and Burnley where you play well, but you got duck eggs for it.
I low-key wasn't. I know they versus Liverpool in the first game. It's a massive game, and they will get some points. But I wasn't filled with a heap of confidence in my prediction when I watched that game.
Because I can spin it. Because I said on the chat, massive win for Liverpool, away to nearly promoted side, first game 23 years, sun's out, baking the pitch, you can be tired. That's your opportunity to win a game of football.
Or at least get a goal or something.
Just the crowd would have got up and if you'd scored.
The fact that they didn't score anything was a little bit concerning. I know it doesn't mean a lot, but
if it's a team,
it felt like the perfect storm
team,
to get.
You had to do something there. It screamed a 1-1. You had to get a 1-1 or maybe even if you lost 2-1, you still have a bit more confidence.
Just a 2-1 with a bit of
close.
With a bit of a scare that they might get something, right? Yeah. But there just wasn't that.
Just felt like Liverpool last season. Ground out first half, second half come out and just blitz them.
Oh, in 5 minutes they killed the game.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Salah.
That to me, one more of a Liverpool's side, that was very impressive. I thought I hadn't watched a lot of Liverpool in the preseason. I didn't really know what Arne Slot was going to do with his team. But it was very reminiscent of a Klopp team, in the sense that Salah was involved in everything going, everything in the final third. Yeah. Trent was playing long balls, long diags. And then Josh, I can't remember. I think it was a good finish from Jota. He just does what he does when he gets in the box.
He scores goals.
He's one of those players where as soon as he scored, the only reason I didn't start Jota in FPL was I wasn't even sure if he was going to start because, as I said, I hadn't watched a lot of the preseason with Liverpool at all. I wasn't sure what the plans were with these guys. And then when I saw him start and I saw him play 90 minutes, I was absolutely fuming because he's one of those guys who he's a great finisher. He just puts the ball in the net.
He's a returns guy.
And if he can stay fit, he's such a good player to have in your team.
That's the question though, right?
But look,
it's a huge question for
Jota. It's a massive if. Yeah. I wonder how many games he's played in the last 3 years combined. So it's it's probably more so of when rather than if he gets injured again. But if you can get 25 games,
take that.
like 25 stars out of him. I think you'd be very happy.
I think Slot
especially when the player behind him is Darwin Núñez, who, okay, not the best finisher in the world, but he's capable, right?
Yeah.
He's a different sort of threat. So, like, I think if you can have him firing and then Darwin come on and fill in the gaps here and there, it's a really good, man to have up top to drive your season, right?
Yeah. Interesting, because Gakpo was put out left, I think.
Yeah.
And Slot would be dumb not to put him out left after what he did in the Euros, because he just cooked from the left-hand side. So, good start for Liverpool. 2-0, massive win for them. We'll fly over a few of these sort of midday games. Forest won, Bournemouth won. Decent in terms of Forest, but again, didn't get the 3 points. One they probably should have. Bournemouth, not great without Solanke, but got the job done. They're waiting for that striker to come, because they got the Porto striker, Vanilson. But he'll take a time, I guess, to implement into the league. But I guess that was the question, and they didn't quite answer with flying colours with the struggle they had in that game. Newcastle won, Southampton 0. Fabian Schär ruined this for FPL owners. I had Isak captain, I had Gordon, and I had Dunk. Lucky I had Dunk, but Burn. But jeez, why headbutt someone? I don't know.
Should it have been a red though, in your opinion?
Funny
with the stuff that wasn't paid, like yellow cards,
in general,
which we'll touch on.
Yeah, but we'll get to that next. But surely the PGML looks at what happened in that game.
Oh my god, we'll save that.
Yeah, okay. That's supposed to be on its own segment. That's its own thing. But yeah, I feel like it is, because nowadays any motion, it's like when they slide tackle and you get the ball, but your foot rolls over the ball. It happened last night in the Brentford Palace game, where Gahey gets the ball clean as hell, but he rolls over it and like clips.
Takes the legs a little bit.
Dam's got like tiny, but he falls over because you see the foot's up.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing.
It's
if
one of those.
If you motion to headbutt,
if any sort of headbutting action, as you said, like,
I don't know why, but there's no need. There's no need.
Yeah, Fabian Schär, I feel like he has it in him, mate. It's these Swiss boys. They
gunning the boys.
I know, it's the Swiss boys, mate. Yeah, Shaqiri, Xhaka, they've got it in him. Arnautovic back in the day, I think he's Swiss. No, he might be Austrian actually. But
yeah, that's some European shit going on there.
It's the flags,
Yeah, a couple rotations, some red and white.
But I don't know. That Newcastle game, did you actually watch the game?
I had goal rush, so I saw the goal, but
yeah.
Like, I watched the 9-minute highlights back to know what's going on.
I mean, look, getting the result, like, after going down to 10-man early,
wasn't convincing though. I gotta be honest.
Well, I mean, it wasn't convincing, but 10-man, like, if you're just looking at as a result, as we said, grinding out results, that's a massive one to grind out. A 1-0 in a game, you go down to 10-man to, like, I think you just got once. Like, that's a real take it and run.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah,
opening it. All I was saying, I'm building it. Obviously, I'm sort of building up to this big point. Southampton were pretty impressive, but they conceded a goal from playing out from the back. So there we go again.
You're not wrong.
I feel like I was sitting here 12 months ago, we said the same thing about Sheffield United. So I'll build on that later on, but fuck, it annoyed me when they did that, because I'm like, gee, you play well and probably deserved
it's almost
at least
like
a point.
And especially just not scoring against 10 men.
And you're at Newcastle. If you get a point there, that's probably worth 3, 4 in a relegation scrap.
So
that really annoyed me. What probably didn't annoy you was Arsenal 2, Wolves 0. Saka, Starboy, energy again. In fact, this guy's 22. Is he still 22?
He's got to be 23.
Bro, it feels like he's been 20 because when he scored, I think the commentator said something, and I'm like, nah, this guy cannot be still.
He's got to be turning. Oh my god, he turns 23 in September, 5th of September.
But he's 22.
But still, he's 22. He's 22,
and like this is me sort of being critical and asked in the chat. But I'm like, fuck, you guys played all right.
Yeah.
But gee, Saka was just like, everyone was a 6 out of 10. He was just like 11 out of 10. Like, everyone on the pitch, all 21 players on that pitch were like 6 out of 10 the best. Saka's just different, man. Different.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't really know, like, what more there is to say on this game besides the fact that I think you nailed it. It was a super average performance from literally everyone from both teams. And then Bukayo just, like, continues to, like, show that he is. I mean, Saka, unfortunately for Saka, it's just like, because he lacks the arrogance a little bit. He's a little bit of, like, loves his little kind of subtle celebrations, but like they're kind of a little bit cheeky. Yeah. But he lacks like the real media arrogance and like rarely gets aggressive, and he doesn't look. He doesn't have like any of the traits like. And I'm not comparing him to Ronaldo, but I'm saying on like a personality level.
Their level.
That, they don't have like similar traits. Like they're very opposite kind of people in like the eyes of the media. So he doesn't really get associated with like being maybe like world class or not world class, but like being maybe to the level he really performs.
Right?
Yeah. Like I think he scored more goals than Ronaldo has scored at 22. I know they played midfield, but Saka played left back. So it's like,
and
he played like 2 seasons at left back. It's not midfield, that's left back. So it's like, don't forget, and he's played in stinking teams. So it's like, don't underestimate how good of a stat that is, having scored like the most goals under 22 like ever in the Premier League, or like, up there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think he's still always underrated because he lacks that, that confidence and that arrogance, right? But what he continues to do week in, week out, like the whole narrative last year was that he was having a bad season. And yeah, I think he scored like 18 goals and like 10 assists or something. He had like an easy 25 plus goal comps. And he was having like a poor season in the Prem. And then he comes out and just, that was like an authoritative finish. The ball to Kai Havertz, which by the way, Kai Havertz just getting it done again. Yeah,
just
like
not home another goal.
I'm not even the guy's biggest fan. Like, I watch him sometimes and like shake my head a little bit. I'm a little bit in disbelief of what he's doing. But he is finding a way to get it done at the moment.
If you carry over the last 8 games last year and this year, is he not?
I think it was more than 8 games last year. I think it was half the season.
There was some like run he was on though towards the back end where he was almost a goal a game. I think it started with the Sheffield game, and ended with like maybe 2 to go in the end of the season. But then you carry that plus this, it's almost like I think a goal. Or an assist in every single game, something like that, some stat like that. So he's been doing it for Arsenal. He
has been. I'm still a little bit skeptical of Kai Havertz, to be completely honest.
That's fair.
I know that's not warranted, probably in like from what he's doing on output wise. And if you go on Twitter at the moment, all the Arsenal fans will be saying like, oh, he's proven you wrong, Chelsea, and like he's proven everyone wrong, and he's that guy. But I'm still not entirely sure I want Kai Havertz leading the line against Man City, or for that matter, any of like the world's best defensive partnerships. I think he still has a long way to go with his finishing. We saw a couple of times in the Wolves game where
there was a massive chance.
What I thought we were doing a lot in that Wolves game was getting touches in the box. Yeah. Like we're getting the ball, and the ball's getting fizzed in there, and whoever was on the ball, like Havertz, a lot of the time, had time to turn and shoot. Which is a pretty hard thing to do in the Prem. But he wasn't doing anything with these shots. It was a lot of like, spraying them wide or not getting your foot around it or not hitting the ball hard. So it was like, in my head, a proper striker excels at that. And I worry that, okay, it was a great header that he put away from Saka's assist. But in my head, as I said, proper striker puts that away. And I worry that come the big games and we have less of those chances, we're not going to capitalise. And I don't know. I just don't think Kai Havertz is the answer up top, put it like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Bukayo Saka, he's that guy.
No, there was a chance like just after halftime, could have killed the game, I thought. Havertz was based on the penalty spot and like just didn't.
Was it the one with his right foot?
The right foot.
Yeah,
I get it. Because of most dominant. I feel like left-footed players are so dominant left foot.
Yeah.
If any sort of, like left-footed player took that, they probably don't score it. But just at least go with the laces a bit or something. Cause
or even like...
It was just strange.
I'd rather you... If you're that bad on your right foot, which I don't think he is. Right?
He's number 10 at
I know.
hard.
But even then, like, he had... That's what I mean. That scenario, he had a lot of time. Like, he managed to have so much time to, like, collect it at his feet,
in the box,
get it out of the way. I would rather you... I know people kind of have different opinions on this, like, oh, just hit it on your right. But if you can't get the power, I'd rather you take a little step on your left, make the angle worse, and just hit it across the keeper and just belt it.
Or do a Saka,
right?
just bolt it at the keeper and
just smack it.
Yeah.
When you're that close, and get it on target, force a save, force something, get a corner. We're that good at corners, force a corner. Like, But it was just like a really unconvincing piece of play. Whereas if that's like a player of like Erling Haaland's sort of striker prowess, then he's at least forcing a big save. Like,
I mean,
you know, and I know Haaland's a bloody generational player. Well, seems to be he's going to be one of those. But I don't know. I still feel like any sort of striker makes a better effort than that.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a bit of a... I didn't love that moment. And I feel like I've seen that a couple times in the last 18 months from Kai Havertz. That's why I'm not just looking at it as like a one-off moment. I'm looking at it in like totality, and I think that he still needs to buck that trend to convince me that he's the guy.
He's the dude, yeah.
But look, overall, you know, as you said, the whole episode is like, it's still a 2-0 win.
Yeah.
We still looked
one of the best goals.
We looked a little bit shaky defensively, but we still conceded like 0.6 XG. You know, like it wasn't like we conceded any big chances. Besides that one rare save from Hwang Hee-chan, which by the way was an absolutely mental save.
And or did Cunha stuff it up? There was I
think Cunha stuffed it.
He stuffed it up because that were the two chances for me. I remember because I was about to say, like, you guys were fantastic first half and probably the back end after the Saka goal. But there was a moment there Wolves could have made it interesting.
They were dominating possession
from 45 and 70.
65-70. Like, they had like 60% possession. It was mental.
It gave me the vibe of there was last season. I actually live streamed my last season's game. You guys played Wolves. You scored early, you scored late, and I think it was a 3-0 in the end. But it gave the exact same vibe where Gary O'Neill's, I don't know, this guy just, I don't know what he does, but he gets it working. They were pressing well. They were playing through the lines. I thought, again, similar to Havertz's chance, if you take that chance, Cunha, or if Raider make that great save.
That was that save was unreal.
Raider's convincing me now. He can make those hard saves on top of just the regulation.
It looks like he's finally settled in, like, within himself. You know, as in, like, to believe that he is the number one.
Looking over his shoulder and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. And I think Arteta tried to instill that within him straight away. Like, it wasn't like...
Just chuck him straight in.
It wasn't like there was any doubt that Ray was going to get dropped once he came in.
Yeah.
But now I feel like he's sort of...
It's locked.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's happening with Rambo, by the way. But no,
Eddie
but Ray looks good.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was a fair play for us. Because, again, to the point we were saying, 2-0 is probably worth a 3 or 4-0 in this match day 1-3 commodity. You think Liverpool had the same scoreline, Man City, you know, same sort of scoreline and game as well. So it's a big win for you guys.
Just really quickly on Wolves as well.
Yep.
I thought they sort of cemented my concerns with them, which is their lack of attacking threat.
Yeah.
You know, losing Pedro Neto. That was just like he's like, and look, he was good against City, but like the loss he is to Wolves compared to what Chelsea gain is night and day. Like, you know, he adds a little bit more to Chelsea. Yeah. But he is such a massive loss to Wolves in terms of like that counter-attacking threat, the finishing, you know, the actual output. That is just such a big hole for them to fill. So it's a little bit concerning.
Their bench, so Podence, but it's probably not going to be anywhere.
He's leaving.
Sarabia, actually, you're right, but he's because he's so old. This is going to be a bench player.
Yeah, Sarabia like can do it, but his
legs are going, right.
They got Cunha came off the bench. I don't know why.
I haven't followed Wolves enough. I've noticed something going on.
Well, I don't know. There he's by far their best attacker.
And he's way too good for he's way too good for Wolves.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So you come off the bench, you've got your Podence. You said he's leaving. Gonzalo Guedes, but he didn't work the first time he was there, so I don't know what's up
with him.
And even Silva as well. Both players went away on loan, didn't really do great on loan either. So a little bit of a worry there for them. But I'll give fair play to Gary O'Neill. He's got his team. At least they don't concede a heap of chances, what they did last season. Everton 0, Brighton 3. I literally just rose the title. It's just a nightmare for Everton. This sort of cemented my worries and why I had them going down, because I don't think Amadou, not Andre, that's a big loss. I don't care who you can put in there. Like,
mate, people were sleeping on this.
Yeah, and you were big on it for Aston Villa's point, which we'll get onto literally
because that's
a
how
second
good he
later.
Was.
Because he literally scored for them.
I mean,
Everton.
I couldn't believe how much people were sleeping on that transfer. Like, Onana was so important to that Everton team.
I think people forget how they started the season off. When they were sort of doing well, when it was like Decore goals, it was Onana defending, Decore scoring. It was like Onana gets the ball, starts the counter, Decore finishes. That's sort of what it was for 10 games when they were actually doing okay.
When Decore was the best
Decore was actually
player
playing.
on the planet.
Yeah, literally Ballon d'Or Decore. But yeah, their spines look weak because now Branthwaite's off to Liverpool, from what I heard this morning.
He's gone Liverpool.
That's what I read this morning. I woke up and I saw that on my
saw
feed.
Kwanzaa. That's it. Dropped in, took him off half time, to be fair.
So if he goes, there's another, again, you still got that new centre back, but you need him, I feel like.
Yeah.
No Onana. Gay gave away the ball for Danny Welbeck's second. DCL, we know. We can't trust him from anything.
I talk about Jota. DCL is like worse, man.
He's good for 3 games. And
DCL is legit when.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Like,
and then how long as well? Because bro just misses.
What's the line? Like 4.5 games?
Max. I'm taking 3. I'm taking the unders on 3.5, to be honest. But yeah, really, really not impressive. On the flip side, fantastic for Hertz and Brighton. I was a little bit worried how well they'd hit the ground running sort of vibe, but geez, they were good. Pace, counter-attacking football. And it gave that old school De Zerbi vibe where they didn't have to play fantastic, but they looked bloody good. So good for Brighton. They're the biggest winners. Not the biggest winners on the weekend. Yes, they're top.
Yeah.
So
that's
fair
mental.
play. Same as last season. I think they went top after day one. So fair play to Brighton. 3-0 win, massive win for them. Continuing the Onana talk. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2. I watched the first half of this. I fell asleep second half. To be honest. But watched it back. Funny old game. Aston Villa dominated it. West Ham just had a good moment.
Which, by the way, my pre-game predictions.
Yeah.
Could not believe that Aston Villa were not favourites, but like I just couldn't believe they were paying like $2.80. Like as in, I mean, look, I know West Ham have made so many signings,
but none of them started.
Yeah, none of them started.
That pissed me off.
Right?
That's sort of. I would probably have stayed up and watched it if everyone was playing. But I was like, no.
What the fact they still had Antonio starting up top.
Full cook, man. He's played a preseason.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like how long have they been crying out for a striker? Like Antonio hasn't been
not that guy
seen since COVID.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, that would have really frustrated. And I know going forward that's going to change, but it's like you might as well just start him.
You had a chance. Match day 1 at home.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be like challenging for the top 8 this year, top 6 or whatever. So it's like. Every game counts, especially the guys who you're competing against.
Genuine competition, yeah.
But I just thought people were sleeping on Villa.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they lost Douglas Luiz, but they replaced him, in my opinion, with a player who's, slightly different, but just as good at what he does in Onana.
Yeah.
And I know they lost Diaby as well, which is a bit of a hole. But I think Morgan Rogers started.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Morgan Rogers has shown last year that he's capable.
Yeah.
We hadn't really seen him on a full match basis.
Yeah.
And over a couple, over months and months, but they still had players there like in Ramsey and Morgan Rogers, and there was guys behind the scenes who were capable. We just hadn't seen them properly yet. But other than that, it was pretty much the exact same team.
Yeah.
So it was like, and a team which literally came 4th last year.
Yeah.
Like this is and I was like, okay, so. I just thought, and Villa, by the way, I feel like this. I didn't really have a lot to back this, but I feel like they've always been so good away from home.
They have a bit more backbone. Is that
I don't know what it was, but I just feel like I have a lot of faith in a Unai Emery Villa team away from home, like just to be like solid, right?
Yeah.
Not like blowing your team away, but at least to be competitive and a backbone, and and I just thought, this West Ham team with Antonio up top, I just can't see them really scoring.
Man, it was a dead West Ham performance, and this is now the Lopetegui problem again. It's sort of. I kept saying last week, but it is player with, the Scottish player really with, what's his name? David Moyes.
Yeah.
Like, Bowen, not really cited. That's your captain. That's your big player. That's your, your franchise face, the club player. Wasn't really involved. Really slow and sluggish. You're going back to Souček again being your guy. I feel like Souček was the only way they're going to find a goal. And it's just like, come on. Like,
and they're still starting like Mavropanos.
I don't know what the deal is.
I want to go through this line.
That starting 11, both teams, to be honest, because even Ian Mads didn't start for Villa. Emi Buendia, I was really excited to see him, but didn't get to see much of him.
Yeah, no, look.
He's coming back from injury, which is fair, but I was really excited for this game. When I saw the lineups, I was really, really just underwhelmed.
Like, you got to imagine with this West Ham team, so they started like Mavropanos and Emerson was there, Soufal was there, like...
Wan-Bissaka comes in for Soufal, you'd think.
Antonio, yeah. So, so you think Wan-Bissaka comes in.
Yeah.
Whenever Tadebo's fit.
Tadebo comes in.
Fulkrug comes in.
Edson Alvarez didn't play. I think he's injured, but he'll come back in as well.
Yeah, Alvarez will definitely come back in. And then you maybe even find a spot for Ward-Prowse somewhere. It's like it looks like it's a much better makeup on paper. But that being said, like you need to get him playing as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think people are correct to be pretty like bullish on West Ham. Like they've made a lot of improvements. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I just think that the guys who were above them last year are still just better than them.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like I mean, everyone's strengthened, and they haven't brought in world beaters by any means. Like, how old is Fulkrug?
31.
Yeah, like it's not like he's going to be around for years. He's going to be on the decline based on an age, like you know what I mean? Like, as in, he might be in the peak of his powers right now, but he hasn't got much longer left, like at the very, very top. So it's like, I think Tots has gone early with West Ham. Where did he put him? Like 8th.
I think I had him 8. I think him 6.
Yeah, 5th or 6th, eh? Like,
because I had him 8th because
maybe I had him 8th, but
I had 7th.
I had him 9th.
No, yes, I would have had him 8th, I think, or 7th, and then he had him like 6th or 5th.
Yeah, I would just say like hold your horses with West Ham.
Hold thy horses.
Yeah.
The best bit of it all was John Duran after putting up the iron sign in IG live video a month ago, go and score the winner, and then pointing to the badge, celebrating. So yeah, fair play. That's proper shit housery from him. But again, for Villa, got the job done. Again, not really entertaining game. I was pumped for this one, but it really wasn't much to be excited about. But I think in the end, as Jacob Ramsey coming off the bench, good to see him back fit. Martin came off the bench as well. Emi Martinez had stuff all to do as well. So like for Villa, it was good, and I think it's going to get better. The problem's going to come around Christmas time when we get those 8 Champions League games and FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and that's
as we expected with Villa. Yeah.
So right now, I think to your point, you're right. They'll be fine until we see Christmas, and then we can really judge them.
Yeah, exactly.
On what we're going to be like.
That's when we expect the hiccups.
Yeah.
And if they can continue playing well, then they will exceed all expectations.
Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. The early game, Sunday, again, we'll flick over this one quickly. Brentford 2, Palace 1. The boys didn't get over the line in the end.
Is a banger disallowed? Which is apparently
I'm not sure about that.
Told by the referee that he got it wrong. The ref got it wrong.
I did get it wrong because, the whistle... We shouldn't have blown the whistle in the first place. Should have allowed the play to go on. I don't know why it doesn't count for free kicks as well. Because the ball went up in the back of the net, but apparently, according to the rule book, he blows the whistle before it hits the back of the net. So you can't give
was that the ruling?
Yes. So he blew the whistle because Hughes and I think Aya got into a mini scrap. It's Will Hughes. He's going to get in a scrap. Yeah. So they sort of stumbled over each other and he blows a whistle, but the ball is like, you can almost like cricket, like back and forth, snicko sort of look at it. Because it's like, it hits the net and you sort of hear it at the same time. You're like...
No way, that's the ruling.
Because technically the keeper then stops, even though he didn't. Flecken was flat-footed and caught off guard.
That's mental.
It was a great free kick as well from Eza.
I didn't realise that was how it was ruled. It hadn't
that's what the commentators were saying. So I'm assuming that's what...
That's ridiculous.
Because it's same with the offside, the flag thing, right? If you put the flag, you can't continue playing because keepers stop. Exact same premise for this free kick. She smacked it, wellied it, great effort, Flecken flat-footed. And it was one of those games where that went against him, and then a minute later, Mbamo scores this counter-attack. And then second half, same thing happened again. Palace scored an equaliser, scrambled, an own goal over the line with Pinnock, and then they were going to go for a winner. And then all of a sudden, they went the other end, and then Brentford scored a second goal. So it was sort of a strange game where Palace were the better-looking team, glassing the ball and the like, but Thomas Frank was back to being Thomas Frank of old, home ground, get the job done.
Tony not in the squad?
No, so he's sold, I think.
So where's he going?
Gee, I hope he comes on loan with us. We'll take him on loan. I'll take another striker.
Yeah, mate. Oh, loan's a good call, actually. I can say
loan, that. No option to buy, I think, will be a Tony thing because Brentford want to lump sum fee for him to go, right? So I can't imagine they're going to loan to buy him anywhere.
Yeah, there might be like a buy option, but it might be like 70 mil or something.
Oh, it'll be a steep.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like, big one.
I'd take him on. You guys would still... A loan would work for you guys
I would definitely take him.
Because then if it doesn't work, you can just scrap him.
I would take him and I'd probably start him over Havertz.
Right. I'd take him in a heartbeat as well.
I know people love Havertz, but I need to see a bit more.
He's not proven. He hasn't been convinced yet. But yeah, I think, listen to what the commentators and the pre-built match build-up and the halftime build-up, the whole storyline was not the football, was Tony. So it seems he is gone after that reception you got when he walked back in the training centre. He seems to be
all that
on funny. The way out, which is fair play to Thomas Frank. He just said, "Nah, like if you're not gonna either mentally or want to be here, just scrap it." And then Burma and Vista were just cooking yesterday on the counter attack. I mean, that was.
It feels like Tony's been mentally gone out for over a year.
Yeah, well and truly, yeah.
The chat he was having about like Madrid and
Madrid don't want you to.
It was a little bit like relax.
Yeah, calm down.
Yeah, they don't want you, little bro. Like,
who do you think you are? It's gonna be a funny one, but I think he should be on his way out. Sharda, not bad performance. The guy sort of touched on coming of the year, but Burma Vista did the job for me. Both of them on the score sheet. Palace good, but not good enough. Mm-hmm. And now to the big one, Chelsea and City. Again, another one that it was hyped up a lot, but probably as an entertainment compared to last year, we used to like, what was it, 3-3 and 4-4? Or 2-2 and 4-4?
I think the expectation was goals galore, to be honest.
I pick a 3-1 City, so I thought it was
I think I did a 2-2 last week.
Yeah. I was expecting a lot of goals this weekend, but it probably didn't happen. But City get the job done again. Another one just getting the job done.
I was pretty scared by City in the first half.
Cooking it, one touch football.
And that wasn't even because Chelsea were bad. Like Chelsea looked
that
good.
was why they were scary.
Exactly.
Chelsea were good.
That Chelsea looked good. And I was just a little bit scared by like they were still just slicing through them, you know. I was just waiting for Doku to explode, He was getting done like in the first 10 minutes by Cucurella. And
he cooked him.
But it was like everyone in the stadium was getting so behind Cucurella and everything. And the commentators were kind of like, he started the game really well. I was like, come on. If Doku kept driving at him that game, he was going to get done.
On his bum.
You know, there was one or two scenarios where Cucurella got like a last touch in to like get the ball away. But I was like, nah, this guy is going to get cooked. Trust me. And then, like literally swap. And then 2 minutes later Doku drives, plays it off to Bernardo Silva, cut back. Yeah, great touch.
I don't know if he meant it, but fuck, what a touch.
And Haaland, you know, we've seen him normally just smack those, but no, it was more bit more composure to it, and it was cheeky little finish, and that was just City away again. Like to be honest, at this stage of the season already, I'm less confident in us than I was last year. I was so confident in us last year. Like I was convinced we're winning the league.
Yeah.
But now I've seen firsthand what Man City do. Like I didn't understand the Liverpool hurt. You know, I just didn't get it. Like being so close and yet not getting there. But now I really feel like it's going to be so tough to beat this team. And especially one of the storylines I want to touch on after this about what I think will affect City as well.
Because the mind game just started as well. Like Pep coming out on Saturday or Friday saying, "I'm not really motivated."
Classic Pep. Bro, I love Pep.
And then he was very nonchalant on the sideline. But I'm like, who's gonna step up? Bernardo's fucking barking. All he's running about.
Bro, Kovacic, man, he was mental.
They were like just bulldogs out there. I was thinking like De Bruyne was up and back, and I'm saying Bernardo.
De Bruyne, he looked like 28. He didn't look like 32, whatever he is.
That's what I'm saying. Like these guys, we know they're getting older and older, especially the front half. They're getting older and older, but those guys, at all the players I thought would not look motivated if Pep was actually, because Pep wasn't at his drinking water and up and down best, but these guys were like, I see like, oh shit.
Yeah, KDB's the one who you would expect. Again, all the stuff about him going to Saudi,
just walk about a bit, pass the ball about.
But he was tracking back. The only one who looked a little bit dodgy was Edison, to be honest.
Yeah, Edison was that parry where Jackson scored the
parry was offside, bad. He had a couple
passing out from the back. It wasn't.
Look, he had a couple decent saves, but that would be expected.
But his Edison, like he's still a top keeper, right?
Yeah, but then he just looked a little bit off it a little bit.
Rico Lewis, fantastic. Savio.
Rico Lewis was nuts, and then Savio was good too.
Compared to Savinho, sorry. Ronaldinho
became Savinho. That's funny, but I thought Rico Lewis was nuts. And then
that right hand side was very, very impressive.
He was like inverting as a 10. It was that bizarre.
He was that far forward. It was ridiculous.
It was actually mental.
But because he's so quick, he can just make up. It's
so is
very
he, do you reckon he's just cemented now, right back?
I think that's it. Yeah, I reckon Pep saw Euros and said, "Nah, bugger this Walker bloke." Walker will still. I feel like Walker will still play like the Champions League, like established games.
Mate,
like,
Walker was lucky overdue to get out of this City team.
He's been holding on for time.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the boy's got a left foot, to be honest, and he's been managing to stick
You got like
around.
Vardy, Ake, Stones, Diaz, Walker.
Kanji looks good, but then you got Walker. Yeah.
It's like the most Brexit at the moment.
I know, it's funny, eh?
Rico Lewis is the modern day. And apparently Cancelo is now in favour again. Like he's been training well.
I was searching this up about Cancelo. I was like...
Well, Pep's in the press conference, he's been training well. He's happy, like, he was happy.
I actually think so, Matt, did you watch it or did you read it?
No, I read it.
Because I read it as well, and I picked up that I think I'd need to watch it to gauge like an actual understanding. Because I wasn't that optimistic reading it. Okay. I read it and I read like, he still may have a place with us this season, and I was like,
that means you're going.
Means he's getting a couple FA Cup games, and
the loan deal in January,
which is mental because Jack Cancelo, he's still got like 3 years left on his deal.
It's a chunky deal, yeah. Pretty sure.
And Calvin Phillips still has 4 left on his deal, by the way, which I thought was mental.
That's ridiculous.
4 years left.
So he's signed him what? So he's had a 6-year deal.
Has he been there 2 years?
I hope it's been 2.
Has it been longer?
No, they put him a 7-year. That's some Chelsea shit.
Has it been longer? Did they sign him in like Jan or something? Nah, it would have been.
It was start of a season.
A summer deal. Yeah.
I think he's been there for 2 full. This is his third season. Not City at City, but like,
he's into his 3rd year.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, Jacques Cancelo. I mean, if they can somehow work that out, he's just another asset. Like people shouldn't sleep on Jacques Cancelo. He was one of City's best players before the little fallout they had. And then he was shit the start of the season with Barcelona, but he actually came good come the end of the year. When Barcelona turned it around, he was actually really, really good. So because it feels like for City, it's like 3 centre backs and then the right back. So your right back's going to be your attacker. Yeah. So they just pick whoever they want. They pick Walker, not as good as that. Rico Lewis, which is very good at that. Well, if it's Walker, then Vardy can play on the left and gets more license.
Yeah.
Right. They just do. It's a very similar. Arteta's clearly found the mold somewhere. It's a very similar mold. Like you're gonna have you play a 4, but someone's gonna be more defensive, and then the other guy has a bit more license to go forward. And in an ideal world, they can both do both. So you can have a pretty free flowing 3. But yeah, I mean, they honestly just look just as good as ever. That's where I am. It was scary. Yeah, it was a little scary.
I know the talk's a talk, but I somewhat bought it, and then seeing how they came out, it was just like that was like a movie. Like they came out and just been like,
that's a game. That's a game where in the past years they probably would have lost.
Yeah,
and it's like this whole the whole narrative of is it the same City team?
They're just warming
They've like put that to bed instantly. Like there is going to be no chat about a City's still the same team. Like
they looked slower versus Burnley last year than they did yesterday.
It was pretty ominous. It was an ominous viewing.
And we'll quickly touch before we do our segment for the week. Chelsea, because I want to talk about Lavia, because you were big on him.
Yeah.
Coming in.
Underrated miss last year.
Yeah. This is his first start for Chelsea.
Wow.
Ever. No, not even like in the cup.
Borderline for finest first start too.
Genuinely. But my God, he makes him look so much better. This is the Southampton Lavia that we were promised last year we didn't get. And again, I've been so harsh and said, wasn't that great, wasn't that bad though, but looked better because I think Lavia was behind him. Caicedo looked a little bit more free in there.
Yeah, so the commentators are saying that Mascara's been only playing one sort of DM.
Yes.
He obviously
one
played,
deeper.
One deeper line midfielder, but he obviously played 2 last night. But does that mean that there's no room for both Caicedo and Lavia going forwards?
That's my thought, because I'll build that.
I mean, we were worried about this with this Chelsea squad because it's so big. Too many. Who's going to miss out?
Yeah, because if you look at last night, you sort of touched on it earlier, but I was disappointed in how little Palmer got on the football. So
that is major worry too.
Because how Maresca played it last year with Shrewsbury Hall and Leicester was the 10 was basically another striker.
Yeah.
So technically Nkunku would be better at that role, but we know how good Palmer is at scoring goals. So you almost play in a flat straight line where it goes Palmer, Enzo, and Lavia, and they're all good enough to play in a straight line because they don't really need to play double pivot. They're bloody good. They don't really need to play double pivot.
Yeah.
So against the smaller teams, that's how I would line up like that. But because again, Caicedo and Lavia, they're very similar. They're both very good on the ball.
They're good at breaking up the play.
Break up the play.
Yeah,
do you
100%
really
agree.
need 2 of them against the top teams like a Liverpool and Arsenal?
Which one starts? Obviously.
I think they need to against you guys.
Yeah.
Because I think they'll get overrun if you have just the one. But mid-table teams like United's and other teams like Newcastle around that mark, maybe you do go with the 10 the proper 8 and just a 6 rather than the double pivot, because they did look limited. Chance creation was a bit more difficult for them last night. That's how I would.
The Palmer thing is really interesting. Like,
nowhere near himself last night.
Like, you cannot underestimate how much he carried that Chelsea team last year.
Oh, crazy.
In terms of like literally purely output.
Yeah.
I mean, his output like would directly correlate with, you know, a massive portion of their points last year. And he just looked a bit lost on the right. I just didn't see him. Yeah. Like, you know, and when he got on it, he used it pretty well. He was playing some nice balls in Nicholas Jackson's feed, and I thought he looked good when he got on the ball, but it was like a rare commodity. You just did not see it, to be honest. And and that's something Maurice is gonna have to like navigate, because I just think you do have to sort of work around him. Like I think
he's your player.
He's what more could he do last year?
Yeah.
The pens kind of seems to overshadow what he did last year a fair bit. I still reckon he scored at least like 10 to 12.
Double-digit open play goals.
Double-digit open play goals, right? And they weren't they weren't tap-ins. No. He was scoring good goals.
Curlers,
like, 100%. Yeah. So it's like, plus, like 15 assists or something.
Yeah, his goal contribution was his number one goal contribution.
Yeah, I think it was like 38 or something.
But it was just him and Haaland neck and neck. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So, like, I think you have to build this squad a little bit around him. And I don't know if that means Nkunku like has to play elsewhere to get Palmer in the 10. I just don't know what you do there, because I think you need Palmer centrally. Is what I'm getting at. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I want to see a lot from Nkunku soon to justify him playing in that position, to justify Palmer not being there. It
was sort of weird, because it was like Enzo was supposed to, according to the team sheet, was supposed to play that, but then Nkunku was sort of like there, and then it was weird because they played Palmer a while, but everyone else, the left hand side was just like vacant.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Nkunku was kind of playing off the left a little bit.
Nkunku was listed left. Enzo was listed 10. He
definitely felt more central.
But Nkunku became like the Morgan Rogers left attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
And Enzo was sort of like another an 8 in front of 2 6s, and then Cucurella was just up and down the left. So it was strange. Joel done the other way around.
Palmer was very isolated on the right.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for me. But they got the result, City. So 2-0 to them. City do best. But positive for Chelsea nonetheless. We'll finish in the last 15 minutes here or so on some storylines from match week 1 that you can, I guess, look forward to as well. Sort of just a subjective segment. You said you cooked, so I want to hear your first.
Yeah, I feel like I have cooked for these. I want to keep them nice and concise though, and let them see how they plan out. So, where do I want to start with this? Let's start with, this is more of an Arsenal season. I've got to start with an Arsenal one. This is more of an Arsenal season one, and not so match week 1 isolated, but this season in general. And it's a discussion where I think it will need to be had at some point. Can Mikel take us to the very top?
That's a good one, yeah.
And there's a little bit of a caveat to this, but this is just a storyline which I think this year, more than ever, you know, another year, another addition to the squad, like, you know, I just think we got to start reaping some of the rewards of being this good, right? Because we are a really good team, you know. Like, don't sleep on how good this team is and how good Mikel's got us. I mean, look, I'm so thankful to Mikel, to what he's done to this club, and I, by no means am I saying if he doesn't get any success this year, you got to pull the pin.
Yeah,
but what it will do is really enhance that discussion. And if he gets no success this year, then it's going to be a massive spotlight on him. Like, make no mistake. So it's just, that's a bit of a season-long storyline, which I want to watch closely and see how that pans out. Like, I mean, even if it's targeting the FA Cup and stuff, like, you know, we've got the squad depth now.
Yeah.
Get something.
Yeah. And,
like, let the players get the feeling of what it is to win.
Yep.
You know, like, let them learn how to win, right? You know, like, perform on the big stage in front of a packed out Wembley Stadium. That I don't even mind the idea of that. Like, whether, you know, what if we target both the bloody Carabao Cup and the FA Cup? I don't care if we, like, you know, if we win both of those, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Win both those plus top 4 plus season Champions League run. Like, you know, I will not be fussed about that. And that, and, you know, I'll be very happy with that. So it's like, That's one for me I want to see pan out this year.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll sort of second that. I went with Arsenal as well, but sort of based on this week, as I was saying about the 6 out of 10 performances, mate. When will the striker problem or lack of, or the real number 9 become an actual problem, or will it become an actual problem?
I think I was touching that with the Havertz point before.
Because again, I like Havertz, and I'm sort of a pro Havertz because I think as a archetypal player, they don't mean like Havertz, and I think he's a really solid, but it's about finding the spot right.
Yeah.
But then,
and does he have a spot every week?
And Arsenal, does he have a spot in an Arsenal team? Is he just a Chelsea player? Was he just fit for that side and that Tuchel system? So looking at the weekend, a lot of 6 out of 10 performances, but like you said, if you have a number 9, maybe you go put 3 or 4 past a Wolves team and easy beat them and go number 1 in the power rankings in all our minds after match week 1. And I look at it, and I look at Tony from yesterday, and for match week 1, you felt like you said, if a striker's there, you beat them quite convincingly, and maybe that helps you going forward, like City did with, as I said, those, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, those home games versus the Palaces and shit, where City used to grind out a result, maybe 2-0 or 2-1, and they might get a little bit lucky. They might dominate the game, but not easy win it, is because now they've got Erling Haaland there. It's over in 45 minutes, and you can rest Bernardo Silva's and De Bruyne's, and Haaland can come off. If you get a Tony and then you bag 3 in the first 45, 60 minutes versus Wolves, there isn't that nervous sort of 45 to 70.
And you don't need Saka to do what he does every week.
Put a banger in.
He doesn't need to play 90 minutes everywhere. So I know
you can drag him at 60 rather than 80. So I think, when is it going to become a problem at any point this season?
Yeah.
The number 9 problem for Arsenal.
I feel like it's been a problem for us, to be honest. We try with Jesus. It turns out he doesn't like scoring goals. He's more of a winger, according to him. We gave Eddie Nketiah number 14.
Yeah.
And he's just not that guy. We wanted to ship him off. We couldn't sell him for 35 mil, which I understand. I'm an advocate of not underselling players. I think he's worth 35, 40 mil. I'm going to be honest. As in, I don't know if he's that good, but in the way the market is nowadays, I think he's worth that. So, but yeah, I think the striker position, we're signing Moreno. Sounds like that's definitely happening.
I wonder if I'll check if he played last night.
He didn't play.
Didn't play? Okay, that's good.
I don't think he was in the squad.
That means it's it then. It's done.
So look, we're signing positions we sort of need to address, but the big one is the striker. And I don't know if there's no one on the market that suits us or whatever it is. We wanted Sesko. I think he wants a tall striker.
A proper big guy.
Yeah, I think he wants that. But yeah, it's funny because you had City pre-Haaland and City post-Haaland, or with Haaland rather, and the narrative always changes. It went from City when they couldn't score without Haaland, they need a striker. Then to when they don't score with Haaland, he's ruined the system.
Yeah.
There's always going to be criticism, right? But I think overall, the net outcome is I think 100 years of football has shown you a striker is pretty important. A genuine striker is pretty important to finding success.
That's why they're so expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
It literally is.
And so, I love the whole dynamic thing, but I would also love to I'd love to there's to be someone up top who's every year you just want the name on the back of your kit. You know what I mean? As in, everyone loves Saka, and that's his own thing. But a proper big money signing up top, we haven't had one of those, man. I'm telling you, we've signed Declan Rice. He was 105 mil. I get it.
Yeah.
But as a sort of DM's 8 sort of role, right? We signed Partey back in that. He was 40 mil. We haven't signed a Lacazette or an Orba for some time now.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years almost. It feels like. Yeah. So, when we had RVP, I want someone like that up top.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think that'll be another sort of issue for us. It'll just amplify all the concerns around that if we don't find success without a striker. So I think it's a good point. I think it's a good one to watch. They go hand in hand,
those 2 points. Yeah. I like it. Your second point.
So I'll try and do one related more to
matched with. If I got it matched with yours.
Okay, this one's pretty relevant. So this is a bit of a relegation discussion.
Okay, cool.
And when I initially thought about this, I was like, is it almost, there's a phrase to this, but is it almost like the devil disguised getting promoted? As in, because the gap feels like it's just getting bigger and bigger. And I know it was only one. I know most years someone stays up, and you can see a few like Bournemouth have stayed up, Brentford have stayed up. Like they're doing well now, but it's like it's becoming more and more rare, right? And it's definitely becoming tougher. And this year, most people had the top three teams that came up going straight back down. And I'm not surprised because we've seen this weekend, it just doesn't feel like they have the edge yet.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Ipswich, they played well, didn't get a goal. Southampton, 10 men against Newcastle, massive opportunity, didn't get a goal.
Yeah.
Leicester tonight, we'll see how that pans out. But I think it is it's objectively getting harder to stay up, right? And especially when the teams... when the big six is now a big 8 or whatever, and that's growing. When the guys who are solidified as Premier League players is getting a bigger, you know, with Newcastle and Villa joining now, the spots available are getting smaller.
Yeah.
So it's like, and obviously the money and everything. It's just, you know, that's a one to watch this year as well, because if all three go straight back down this year as well, then. Yeah, the sort of like the integrity of the league feels like it's a little bit all in question as well. And I had a big thought of like hypothesis on this, is that I wouldn't be surprised to see the number of the teams in the Premier League over the next 5, I don't know, in the not so far future, so not near future, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it increase. I reckon I could see a league where there's 24 teams.
Wow.
In the next 5 years, and
it's not ridiculous.
And I don't think it is, because I know it sort of makes no sense. Like, you know, okay, everyone's getting better, so like people drop in, people come out. But because, as I touched on, that top segment is getting bigger, I feel like that makes it more inclined for there to be more teams. And I also think if it comes to money, right, and you want... and like... I just think the league's more interesting when you have a more competitive relegation battle, right? And the only way you're going to do that is really if you have more teams who are like relegation teams, or who are like, you know, lower end teams. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the league expand to like 22 or 24 teams in the coming seasons, just to sort of like try and combat the gap between the top end, which is becoming a top half now, and then the bottom end. That's one to watch, I reckon.
That's a big one. I like it a lot. I'll sort of continue on it to a similar mode I sort of talked about earlier. It's the sort of, when do we start to say this is the same as last year in terms of the style of football? Southampton played their style. They played at the back a lot last season. They shipped goals a lot last season. Same to the They would be front-footed, free-flowing, but they would ship a shit ton of goals last season. Leicester was very similar come the back end of the year. So I'm interested to see how they go tonight. I predicted a 5-2. I think it's going to be crazy.
You predicted a what?
5-2 to Tottenham. I predicted
tonight. To Spurs.
Oh, not to Leicester.
I was
not
like,
to Leicester.
What?
Not to Leicester. I'm not that crazy.
5-2 though to Spurs.
I can Spurs will slap them silly 5. But I think Leicester will score. Because all these teams that have come up have won the championship with scoring goals. And
yet
I wanted
neither.
And none of them have scored this weekend.
Southampton have scored.
Burnley have gone and smacked up 2 teams. They scored 4 in their opening 2 games as well. So to build your point, the gap is definitely there. But secondly, when do we start to say, all right, you need to swallow that bit of humble pie.
Yeah.
Change your style of football.
We said it all last year with Burnley.
And I said this to Nathan actually on the midweek pod last week, because we talked about Burnley's, they smacked up Luton. They dominated them.
Yeah, right.
But they played the exact same way. And I was like, I'm sort of happy because my comment on like go down together, come back up together, sort of working. But when Wilson on the Bears going to Tottenham and Sander Berge going to Man United, now then you start to worry, because like you guys said, you can't just go down and expect to keep that same squad.
Yeah.
So then I look now, these teams, especially an Ipswich team, that I don't think you can just rebound back up. They don't have the Burnley thing. Same as Southampton. I think a lot of those players will get shipped off. They're very talented.
That's something I definitely want to touch on my point before really quick, is that, the whole like devil disguise thing is that how tough is it for teams to rebound and come straight back up?
It's not.
Like, it feels like it just takes it out of them. They lose their best players. So they come up, they spend a lot of money usually. So they're already like on the back foot trying to stay up.
Yeah.
And then they end up going straight back down, lose their best players. And then you end up you get stuck in the midst of the championship. So it's like, and that whole cycle, that goes through all the championship teams, then the gap just gets bigger. And it's like, I I just think there needs to be, they need to try to do something to combat like the lack of equalisation in the Premier League.
Yeah. And that's what I think. I just think I'm big on this season with these teams.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're anywhere as good as Luton and Burnley. That's just my look
right,
at things.
okay.
I think they need to change, especially Southampton, who can really be really good in their day. They can awesome the Championship, but Premier League, like I said, different.
Yeah.
Southampton and Ipswich need to just change a little bit to try and hopefully stay up this year. So when do we start to worry about them? All right, point 3.
Okay, so this one, another sort of big, like macro one, but I reckon this season we're gonna. It feels like Pep's last season.
Yeah.
And so, what does that look like in 2 cents? One, it's a last dance sort of vibe, right? So, like, are they going to be come back into the season extra motivated? Yeah. We saw this with Klopp. Is that going to work against them? Too many emotions, etc. Yeah. But that's one way to look at it. But then it's also, I think it's more so life after Pep.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And I think it's a harder thing to replace than what Liverpool have done with Slot and Klopp.
Yeah.
Because I think we're looking at, we're looking, in my opinion, at the greatest manager who's ever lived, right?
Yeah.
And his ability to coach the big players, right? It's a unique ability he has, which most managers don't have. We've only really ever seen it with like guys like Zidane and Mourinho back in the day, and Fergie. Like, that's a really tough thing to do, and they don't pop up, right? Like, as in, good managers pop up, but managers who are capable of coaching players with egos, you have to have an ego yourself. You have to be a proven winner.
Yeah.
And there's not many available, right? So it's like, I think that's one which will be really interesting to watch over the next sort of 9 to 12 months. See how City finish the season, if it's Pep's last, which I think it will be. And see if they announce that. Like, when, like, when are they going to keep it under wraps? But is Pep just going to tease it all year, like in the press conferences, not motivated? I think I need some time off, I'm
running out of energy.
I just want to play some golf, because he's going to do it. It feels like it must be the last year of his contract there.
I think he's had a lot of little extensions and stuff. Yeah.
But that's an interesting one to watch, because it really will signal the end of an era in the Premier League. Klopp's gone, Pep's gone, Ten Hag will be gone.
The bald era is come and gone like before it even landed.
But no, I think that storyline and how that pans out will be a really interesting watch over the next 9-12 months.
Yeah, I did the micro version. I was thinking, I had Pep's, but I said, how good can City get this year? Because of last night, I said they came like dogs, man. I've never seen them hunting like that.
It was really scary.
Like, even the Community Shield, I thought we were the hunting team, not like that. City were acting like they were the hunting, not the hunted sort of feel. And it felt really, really like...
For saying that lack motivation.
Yeah, but this feels like that, was it Aguero's last season, where it just felt like they were just like, angry. They got like 100 something points. It just feels like that. I'm like, I was watching it. I was a little like, and that's why I sort of build onto I went the micro version of your point. Pep's last season, how motivated can his team get? How good can his team get? Because is it De Bruyne's? Is it Edison's? Is it even Bernardo Silva's last season?
That's a really good point to add on.
There's a lot of players that could be going.
It's not just Pep.
Yeah.
If Pep goes, then it feels like Edison's gone, KDB's gone. I mean, even if it's just those two, they're two absolute staples in that team.
Last 10 years, that Premier League, like, that's the era.
They would have won.
Edison's and De Bruyne's.
They would have won like 12 Prems combined.
Yeah,
those two. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So, that'd be a really interesting watch, like towards the back end of this year, particularly. But it definitely, I can see where you've expanded from this week.
It's very scary. 4? Yeah, 4 to 4.
So this one, building from the weekend, and also on the City discussion, how good can Haaland get? And this will sound weird, but I think Haaland will score so many goals that he will be looked at more than just a goal scorer. So I know that sounds weird, but we look at Prime Ronaldo, right? Prime Ronaldo was like the best goal scorer in the planet, but he was the best player in the planet, right? Yeah. As in, he wasn't just the best striker, he was the best player in the world. And I honestly think that Haaland, despite scoring less like individual goals and less so far, what we say, more of a finisher rather than like does it himself, I can still see this guy like even just with the finish on the weekend, you know, versus a Chelsea team away who are good, I can see him scoring. This is a bit of a preseason prediction as well, along with like a storyline. But I can see him bagging 50+ Premier League goals this year. I know that sounds ridiculous.
No, but I said in my prediction. I said in my prediction, it's not ridiculous, man.
What are you saying?
I said that in my prediction as well, though. I think De Bruyne and Haaland this year combined for shit tons of goals. Like
I can see him scoring 50 goals. Like genuinely, the fact that he was like, it felt like he was so off last year. And he scored a goal. He scored a goal a start.
Bag every start, wasn't it?
I think it was 27, 28 goals, which is like absolutely mental, right?
91 goals in 100 games.
Yeah, no.
That stat was flying around last night. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was flying. But I honestly think come this time next year, it'll be a Haaland like Ballon d'Or lock. You know, City probably won every trophy under the sun, and yeah, I honestly think, I don't know if does that make sense? Like what I'm saying about the goal scorer thing, like, you know. He will score so many goals.
He'll transcend just a goal scorer.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He'll be like, it will be considered more than just like the best striker. It'll be the best player in the world, right? And it won't be associated with like the best goal scorer. It'll be like, this is the best player in the world. Yeah, no one can do what he does in terms of finishing and just being in the right spot. And, you know, like I'd like to see a few more like long shots from him. I know he doesn't get the ball out there much, but because he hits the thing so hard and he finishes so well, I want to see him like just boot him in. But yeah, I think that'd be I think it'd be exciting, and I think records are going to break this year.
As well, Mbappe at Real, they take away from what he can do best. So yeah, I think that's a real thing. Mine, I've got negative again. Another relegation talk. When does the panic button get smacked at Everton?
Because, you stole one of mine.
Oh, okay. Well, you can build on mine because this is going to be a real thing. It sounds bad. I'm big on them going down. I feel like they're going to go down. It sort of just seems like the whole FFP thing comes around because they built this new stadium. It'd just be so ironic they start the championship in a new stadium. It just feels like such an Everton. It'd be such an Everton thing to happen, man. And you talk about getting.
When's their stadium open?
Next, like the first game next season will be in this new stadium. And
God!
I've seen all the Twitter stuff and the thread stuff. It's such an Everton thing. Just to start a championship season against fucking Plymouth and Rooney at their new stadium.
And it's not going to be the good team stay up. It's going to be Everton are so bad they go down.
I reckon that'd be awful.
I'm telling you, I predicted them to go down. Like
I hadn't gone down. I think they're stinky, man. They really not good.
Suck.
They're not good at all.
So I think their squad is terrible, and if Branthwaite leaves, then it's like,
your best player's gone.
And yeah, I mean, that whole like, they're supposed to be defensively solid. You know, they're going to get held up by the defense, get slapped up 3-0 at home, and bet an XG of 0.41, right? And that wasn't. I'm telling you, that's not an off game. You know, that's going to be the
Everton footy goal.
That's going to be the narrative this season. They're not going to be able to score. And if they ship goals, they're cooked. So, that's a really that storyline will be cramps if like they start the bloody championship season at the new stadium. But that's an interesting watch.
It's going to be them. I can just say, I'm sorry. It's just funny, but I can say I
feel look.
I feel bad laughing at it.
The only other team in Premier League, like top flight history, along with us.
Yeah.
The GOATs, mate.
Go Jays.
To never get relegated.
Yeah,
they're overdue. They've been flirting with it for years. It's been like 2 or 3 years now. Easy.
Was it longer?
No, maybe it's not, but it feels like actually flirting with it. Like, well, I mean, I swear it was only like 5 years ago. Ancelotti was taking them to the world, man.
They're cooking them at the top of the label. They were like beating Tottenham at Tottenham Hotspur.
It was like when they had who's
Hammers?
Bald geezer manager, coach Portugal. This Euros.
Oh,
what the hell's his name?
Roberto Martinez.
Yeah, Roberto Martinez. It's like when they had Roberto Martinez, it was like when they had their best squad and
big romp.
It was funny because it was like when they had Martinez, they were all getting so pissed off. Like, we should be better than this. They finished like 8th.
Yeah, we want Europa League football.
They were like challenging for Europe, like low key every year.
Yeah.
Oh, we suck. We're conceding goals. Like all this, you know, in that Scouse language, and then
Malakia.
And then they got Ancelotti, which by the way is still the most bizarre thing in history. Saying that out loud,
it doesn't exist. I'm sure it doesn't exist.
Transgender James and Ancelotti. Remember that?
James is like the best player in the league.
But do you remember transgender James? Do you not remember that?
No, it was a genuine thing.
Bro, that was the weirdest time ever.
Dude, I won't say a month, but it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks. It was that was like a talking point in football.
But no, that time at Everton, yeah, honestly, God, never happened.
Streets won't forget those times.
But then, yeah, so now they're just...
It is quite ironic. They were like complaining about not being top 8 or top 6, and now they're loving if they're 6 bottom.
Well, I mean, and I don't know where the upside's coming from either. Like, how much money are they going to have to spend to fix this squad? It's terrible.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so ironic. The stadium is going to cost them because it got them FFP problems, and now it's going to send them down.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They can't buy anyone.
They're cooked.
They're so bankrupt. It's a joke. They're screwed.
Okay, so my last
final one.
This is not even building from the weekend, but this is another season-long one.
Yes, we will.
So if my predictions are correct and Man United finish like 8th,
yep,
and then that means Ten Hag will be gone.
Yep.
And at that point, like if Ten Hag goes, because you guys suck, then I really don't know where that leaves you guys, eh? And I just wonder how many times can you keep doing this
cycle?
Like, because you've actually persisted with him. He could have gone last year, like when he was sacked.
I was glad. I think,
but if he stinks it up this year, then he's gone. Like he has to be gone. Right. And I just wonder, like, how many times can this keep happening? Where you get a new manager, you ship in 500 million in their investments, and then it doesn't work. So you have to do it with a new guy, and at what point? Like, I know these clubs are made of money, but I feel like in extreme cases, we've seen like giants fall. And I know you're an absolute giant, right? Like biggest club in the world, arguably. But I feel like sort of we've seen resemblance with prime Newcastle and prime Villa, where they were elite. Like they were like the best clubs in the world, in the nation. Winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues and stuff like that. And I just wonder, like, I'm not saying you're anywhere near there, but I'm kind of, it feels like you just can't keep going down this track. If Ten Hag gets sacked, then because you have a bad season, which could not, if you guys do well, then that none of this matters. But but I think it's do or die for Ten Hag this year.
Yeah, trophy or bust, or just ladder position or bust?
I think more so ladder position. I don't think a trophy really matters. Like, if you finish below 6th and you win an FA Cup or a Carabao thing, I think he's gone. I think the expectation it's a double-edged sword. So I think the expectation needs to be higher than that.
Yeah, but
at the same time, you need to adjust expectations to where you really are.
Do
you know what I mean? It's like it's a major predicament because you're Man United, but you're also. But what version are we of Man United?
Also Man United as well.
It's like, this is Manchester United we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm falling my own sword. But if we finish top 6, but if we win a Europa League, I wouldn't be mad. Like if we win, so we're back in Champions League.
Okay, so if you finish like top 6th and win a Europa,
okay, outside top 6, I'm not accepting anything.
Yeah,
that already sounds bad, but okay. That's my line. I'll cut off there. So
I think that's fair enough.
Top 6 and a trophy for me is a successful season. The problem is we go to so many finals. But then
sixth in a Carabao Cup.
Yeah, that's when it gets a bit shaky.
6th in FA Cup.
I'll take that.
6th in Europa.
I'm very happy with
5th in Carabao Cup.
Again, Carabao.
5th in FA.
Yeah, happy.
5th in Europa.
Yeah, very happy. Very happy.
4th Carabao Cup.
Take it. Yeah.
So it's either 6th in FA Cup or 4th in
yeah.
Cool.
That's the thing.
What about just 4th?
Happy as well because that's the thing. I don't know. I think you'd be a big supporter of this. Consistency is being United's like
4th would be a good season.
Massive problem. So if we can actually finish 4th and actually have a season of just like consistent football,
yeah.
By all means,
yeah. Fourth with the caveat that, or 4th with the expectation is you're playing consistently every week, and Ten Hag's finally showing his brand, and there's we can genuinely see some upside, right? Then that's a good season. But if it's scraping a 4th, even then I'm not sure about it. Yeah. If it's a 4th where you have no identity and there's absolutely no upside, and you need to address 25 positions again, you buy another Mason Mount, then I'm just not sure, man. I think having prospects for you can see where the improvement is coming is a massive thing. I'm just not entirely sure where that is for United at the moment.
I know Carragher's a certified hater, but he actually said it. And I wasn't even like against it. Have we not just like is Ten Hag's way just not just game to game, just whatever happens? Because he put up a valid point because it's been I've seen 2 seasons, but feel like it's been 2 and a bit. But we've seen some styles and other styles and this style and that style. And I guess the first 5 games.
I just don't know if that takes you to
no. It might not. But is his style just what happens on the match day?
Well, no, that's my issue with it.
That's a worry.
Like, it feels like that's what it is. I'm not convinced. I mean, when have we seen that get you success? The last 10 Premier Leagues.
Never worked at all.
I think every single Premier League title I can think of, there was a clear identity. I mean, obviously Pep's system have an identity. Obviously Klopp's system had a very clear identity. You know, like there is clear identities with every single team. And the closest challengers in Arsenal, who've pressed it the last couple of years, have a very clear identity. We have, we have a way we want to play, and it took us. We had teething problems getting there.
Yeah,
but that's part of the process.
Yeah.
But if there is no process and you're just sort of finishing 8th and saying, oh, okay, if you're finishing like 6th and whatever, saying, oh, well, we just want to give him time. What are you giving him time for? What are you trying to see him implement? That's been my issue with Ten Hag.
That's the worry, yeah.
Yeah.
And my final point, a bit weaker than that one. I was like, does Brentford even need like Ivan Toney this season with the Visser and Burma?
For what you're going for, that's okay.
Yeah, I just think they've got players now. Obviously, they've got a new signing that's going to be coming in December, back from fitness.
Is it time to cut ties?
But yeah, I just feel like it's a bit negative. The fact that everyone yesterday, I changed my last one yesterday because I was watching the game and all this coverage about Toney, not about the football that Brentford were playing again. I was like, Thomas Frank's a really good manager. We all rate him as a manager. Brentford, new season, new start, hopefully a little bit more fit. Like Rika Henry and these sort of guys coming back. Do you really need a toxic?
Can Sade kick on?
Yeah, can this guy, can he have a full season as well? He's been injured as well. Do you really need a toxic environment where every article, every game is about what is Ivan Toney do next season?
I think that's a really good call.
And maybe benefits Arsenal United, so it's probably better for everyone if he leaves. But that was my 5th and final storyline. There we go. That's match day 1 wrapped up.
Real quick, winners and losers? Just
I put him in. Okay, cool. I'll go on quickly. My winner was Sebastian Hertzler with Brighton.
Nice.
Because that's the most ideal start possible. I thought that would be a tough start for him. And my loser was Southampton, giving away that.
I've got different ones. That's good.
That type of loss to Newcastle, playing out from the back. I was like, big Sheffield United vibes. So they're my losers as well.
My winner is Arne Slot.
Yeah, cooked.
Solid outing in an underrated tough fixture.
Yep.
And my loser is Everton.
Just stinky.
As for all reasons we discussed. They're supposed to be good defensively. They concede 3 and they're 0.41 XG, cementing the fact that they have no attacking threat and it's going to be a long season for the Toffees.
18th. Down the Toffees. That
was a good one. That was a good one, I reckon.
Smacked that. Lovely work. It's very concise. We did good 1 hour and a half. Smacked on the dot. There it is. Every game for match week 1 wrapped up. Next week, I think we're getting
What's the big game this weekend?
Oh, great question. I think Liverpool and Newcastle have a big game, I'm pretty sure. One of those boys.
Arsenal got Villa. That's a big game.
That's a huge game.
Leave, if you're still watching, I always wonder.
Here we go.
If someone is still watching, leave a score prediction for Villa versus Arsenal, and I'll pay you $50 if you get it right.
Yeah, direct transfer.
If I see it.
So he's going to comment first.
Still there.
He's going to comment first and then leave.
I'm going to comment exactly what everyone's saying.
Yeah. Leicester Spurs tonight. I said my prediction. Do you have any prediction for that? That's more wilder than 5-2 Spurs.
Leicester.
Can you beat 5-2?
Let's go 3-1 Spurs.
3-1 Spurs. That's more realistic.
Yeah.
And the mighty Man United play 7:30. Cannot wait for an early game for once versus Brighton. Thanks for jumping on. Next week.
No stress.
Next week we should have all 3 of us here.
See how it goes. 8 a.m.'s getting locked in.
Yeah, it's coming ingrained now in the brain. Thank you for joining us, guys. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. 5 stars.
On the road to 1K.
On Spotify. Yeah, we're 900 and a bit.
Less than 100 to go, mate. Less than 100 to go.
Yeah, we're cooking.
In the back leg.
We're cooking now. Thanks for joining. I'll be back on Thursday with Nathan. Shit ton of cover on Thursday. There's a lot of things happen in the world of football. And predictions on Thursday and the new show on Friday as well. Till next time, guys. See you later.